From the national newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm Karen Rebo. After a tense and surprising Monday on Parliament Hill, the holiday break might not come soon enough for some members of Parliament. MPs are set to begin that break later today, capping off a tumultuous fall sitting filled with non-confidence votes, filibusters, a growing deficit, and yesterday's resignation by the country's finance minister. Chrystia Freeland's bombshell departure from cabinet prompted renewed calls, perhaps even some new ones, for Prime Minister Justin Trudeau to step down as well. Ontario MP Chad Collins left an evening caucus meeting telling reporters the Liberal caucus is divided and that Trudeau needs to go.
I'm not going to breach confidentiality in terms of what happened in caucus, but I can say we're not united. There's still a number of our members who feel we need a change in leadership. I'm one of those.
In her resignation letter, Freeland said she and Trudeau found themselves at odds about the nation's finances and the best path forward in the face of threatened tariffs and what she called a grave challenge with the incoming Trump administration. Last night, Trudeau snapped photos with party faithful and addressed a holiday fundraising event in Gatineau.
It's obviously been an eventful day, and it has not been an easy day. But I wanted to come here tonight and speak with you, dedicated, devoted members of the Liberal Party, because you, not me or any other politician, are the beating heart of this movement.
Dominic LeBlanc was sworn in as the new finance minister minutes after the government's fall fiscal update showed the deficit from the last fiscal year grew to nearly $62 billion. The federal Liberal Party has lost yet another by-election.
The Conservatives have easily won back a Metro Vancouver seat they held from 2019 to 2021, with Tamara Jansen easily picking up Cloverdale-Langley City to return to Parliament Hill for a second time. Jansen was defeated in 2021 by the Liberals' John Eldag, who vacated the seat earlier this year to run for the BC NDP in British Columbia's provincial election. It's the third by-election the Liberals have lost this year, with the party also losing previous strongholds in Toronto and Montreal. David Bowles, The Canadian Press.
A Canadian icon has been selected to appear on this country's next $5 bill. In its fall economic statement yesterday, the federal government announced Terry Fox will adorn the $5 banknote. The late amputee who lost his leg to cancer raised money for cancer research by running his Marathon of Hope in 1980 and died the next year. But the annual fundraising run in his name has raised more than $850 million. And Canada Post is resuming operations this morning after a crippling month-long strike by 55,000 unionized postal workers. Canada Post warns customers should expect delays into the new year as it works through backlogs. This is the Canadian Press. In sports, NHL action last night saw Carter Verhaeghe score the tie-breaking goal in the third period, and the defending champion Florida Panthers beat the Edmonton Oilers 6-5 in a rematch of a Stanley Cup final. Verhaeghe says it was great to see the offense perk up after back-to-back shutout losses.
It feels good to kind of get going. Obviously, we don't want every game to be 6-5, but it was nice to get the win.
The Oilers saw their 5-game winning streak snapped with a loss. Kiefer Sherwood scored 3 times, and Vancouver beat the visiting Colorado Avalanche 3-1. In the NBA, the Chicago Bulls held on to beat the Toronto Raptors 122-121. The Raptors also lost starting center Jakob Poeltl to a groin strain. An update is expected later this morning. 2 NFL games last night. The Minnesota Vikings moved into a tie for first with Detroit in the NFC North at 12-2 after blitzing Chicago 30-12, and the Atlanta Falcons beat the Las Vegas Raiders 15-9. From the Canadian Press, I'm Karen Rebo.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. For more of today's top stories, visit thecanadianpressnews.ca.